Alright, welcome to the Sweat Lab. Today I'm going to show you how to acquire and load your samples using the software in Thermo TraceFinder General LC. So here you see a few different screens. We do not need the Quantiva screen, so I'm going to navigate here. This is the Thermo TraceFinder General LC, and I'm going to click on Quick Acquire Sample. It's going to bring up this screen here. And first thing I'm going to do is type in a file name. I like to either start or end with the date. In this case, it is the 18th of October 2022. And then you can name it whatever you like. In this, it does not allow slashes, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and name this LC-MS, and we can label it as test. And then if you have multiple samples, you can either put a number afterwards, or you can put that elsewhere in this sample ID. Let's say we use test 1. Next thing you're going to have to do is this file path. You can double click, and this is where your data is going to be saved. This is the raw data. Again, it can be wherever you like. This should be set up prior, so you kind of have a file in mind. However, if you forgot to do that or you don't want to, you can always just click make new folder and name it whatever you like. Typically in this lab, we go to 4.0, projects, Pan 19, and then we're going to go down to either this is my training, this is another person in the lab's training, and we can click this, and I can say, oh, I want this in test run, so I click OK. Now that file path is there. Sample ID, let's say I just want to name this sample 1. Okay, this is not required, neither is sample name, although it can help later, and it's not difficult to type in. So sample name, this is where I like to identify maybe volume of something. So let's say I'm working with parts per billion, and I know I'm working with 5 dpb. So I might do that, and now I know. I never add a comment, and I grab this little scroll bar and I pull over, and then there's vial position. Now vial position is really important, and as you've seen on one of the other trainings, there's loading the auto sampler itself. This is where you then tell what your sample is. So you always start with the letter of the color of the position you were in. Let's say it was yellow. And then you do this double dot, and you can say position A1, and now it knows where to go. Injection volume, this can be determined on your protocol. In this lab, we typically use about 7 microliters, so I'm going to leave it at 7. Next, you have instrument method. Here you can double click, and it will bring up a plethora of different methods. You can navigate backwards to other methods. You should know where they are. This protocol will normally be built beforehand, and so you would already have something in mind. Maybe you're playing around with some different protocols, so you can scroll through here and find what you like based on labeling. I'm just going to pick one of the more recent ones and click open. And now that's loaded. And that is everything I need in here. I have never put anything in exercise collection minutes. So everything's looking good now. And let's say I want to run multiple samples. The reason I like to do the first one is because now, let's say I want 2 more samples. I can click in 2, I can click in any number I want. And I'm going to say add. So this is going to be a total of 3. And as you can see, it has taken the methods with it and the file path, which is great. It also has labeled the ends of these for me. However, it did O1, and it labels this test here. So keep this in mind. This is something I do not like, and I'm going to clear it. Now, something that is nice is if I hit 2, I can actually highlight this cell and the one below it, saying I want this one and the one below it, and I can tell it to file down or copy down. If I hit file down, it keeps counting. Now, if I do something like here, highlight all the way down, and I select copy, let's see how this works. Paste, maybe it is still file down. There we go. It will keep the same one, and then it always adds the number at the end. You can remove that. here, again with this, I want 7 all the way down. And this is really helpful when there's many samples. Ah, there's copy down. So that's what I was looking for. And you'll see that it populates just as such. So this indicator here is blue, and it just means that the sample has not been acquired. You can always hover over it and it will tell you. You can then highlight, and then you can hit acquire sample. And here, it will tell you the number of samples, 1 through 3. All this stuff is normally pre-selected, so you should not be selecting anything new unless you want to change something. Post-run status, here we have it on, and I'd like it to be either on standby if I'm running another sample, running a sample. We typically leave our instrument always in standby. We almost never have it in the off status, and if you want to keep doing sample after sample after sample, loading the auto sampler as you go, you can leave it as on, whatever works. And then from here you hit OK, and it should run from there.